Of yellows, and we're going to come over here. Let's start plopping in a bit of brightness out into our sky, wherever we want it to be, however big it wants to be. We can always shrink it back down. All right, a little bit of our yellow. Go into our Indian yellow and our yellow ochre. We're going to change up the flavor of the yellows. Still a yellowy color, just a little deeper and darker. That's all we need. The deepness and the darkness. Okay, again, let's move over to our red, kind of getting darker and darker in color. As we go out here, drop that red in. Oh, it doesn't even have to be everywhere, right? Let's say we don't even want the red. Let's go into the crimson. We'll come back into a little deeper, darker reddish. Maybe that guy we drag down in front of that color and let them all mix in, because it doesn't matter, man. It honestly does not matter. And your little yellow circle might disappear. It's perfectly fine. Don't even worry about it. Seriously, a little bit more of our crimson out here. And we'll have this beautiful little oceany scene. Now, straight across at about half our canvas, just like that. This will become our far-off ocean water. Right? We don't need to see every bit of our ocean water. And in fact, let me grab a little bit of our color. We're going to come down at a little angle like this. There we go. That's the angle. Not about straight, about having that little angle so we can kind of pretend that our beach is a little further away than it actually is. Now, sometimes you can go with your purples in a pinky sunset like this, or you can go with your brown. What do you think we should go with, guys? Should we go brown in the sky, or should we go purple in the sky? You guys tell me, and we're going to have an awesome time. You let me know. Don't say purple. If you're my friend, you're going to say brown, like Mike Allen says brown. TMH, my dude, I thought we were buds. Purple, 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 purple Edel Peter. This is what I was about to say. It doesn't even make any sense. A purplish people eater. All right, guys, you guys won me over. We'll go purple. We'll go purpley in our sky. Gorgeous. You guys, look at this color. Just fantastic. Let's sing a little bit more of it, though. Down into the depths. All right, then we'll go through and we'll blend it all out. Make it all crazily the same, and somehow both the same and not the same at the same time. But we can't use that little brush to do it. We got to use a nice big brush. Did you know I never flip a brush? I never flip a brush when I'm on live, or drop it. Caught it. On my nipple, I caught it. Right, now we're going to take our big old brush. We're going to go into the brightest part of our sky. We're going to start to blend that part out first. All right, and it doesn't mean go from here out to here. We got to include all of our brighter little yellows and oranges until we get out to our red and our crimson-y bit, in which case, watch that, our crimson likes to take over and instantly darken our little yellow spot over there, which is okay. It's fine. It doesn't all have to be the same. Not every color has to look just like this when you start to blend it out. It can change and go all over the place, right? Now, our purple is going to want to do the same thing against all this reddish crimson-y color. It's going to want to smother our little yellow area in the center, right? So it depends on what yours looks like, how much you blend it, how small you let your little yellow circle get to. And then we'll come out here, and these flat spots along the bottom, we're going to decide, where does the sky meet the water, right? Because that's what it's all about. A bit of water. Now, let's get that little bit of that pinkish purplish color that we had going. And let's say maybe out just very lightly into our sandy area on this horizontal line, or a diagonal line, just down like that. It's going to be where our ocean meets our sand. Right? I don't want it to be too purpley. Let's go in a bit of our brown as well. If we can get any amount of it off that skin. Let's see. Slice it, do some surgery right here. Did you know you could peel the skin off of your paint pile and you'll have a whole other painting's worth of paint underneath? Did you know? Okay, into the brown. Since you guys didn't want me to go into the sky with the brown, we'll go down into here, just very lightly, kind of over that purpley bit. Nothing has to be the same, and I don't want the brown to come all the way out here because we got a white sandy beach. This is just our wet sand, all right? We can even take it and pull it straight down, giving it that sandy look. Swipe across, very wet-ish looking sand. And then out here, we're gonna blend that all out into white. So, let's go back up with a different brush, just because we got a little bit of coloration issues up here. We're going to start in our lightest area again, crisscross out into that purpley bit, right? And we might want to actually put some purpley bit onto this side. Now that our our yellow circle was here initially, and now it's moved all the way over to here, right? So we can't have our darkness being so close to our light. Let's bring in some more dark into our sky on this side. Oh, just that purple bit on top of all that crimsony red, and then we can decide, my guys and gals, what it looks like when we go back and blend it all out, right? All we gotta do. Nice clean dry brush, blend it, blend it, blend it. And remember, your yellow circle does not have to stay yellow. Nothing in the rule book says it has to stay yellow out there, right? Now we'll come out here and we'll take this tool and make a giant sun with it. No, I'm just kidding. We're not gonna do that today. Not today. But we do need a little filbert brush, and I can't seem to find it. You know what, we'll use the Paint with Josh one. Where's the Paint with Josh filbert brush? Here we go. I've been watching that Alone show, and this crazy lady is like singing to herself, and it's making me sing to myself now. I don't appreciate the influence. We're gonna come over here with the Paint with Josh filbert brush. Just the most gorgeousest of all brushes you've ever did seen. We're gonna put the paint on one side, not the other side, just the one side. We're gonna set our palette down. We're gonna go aim for our lightest spot out into our sky, plop the brush down, and then spin it. A little spinny poo. Now, if you can get it very small and keep it very small, you'll have a very teeny tiny white sun out there, right? But sometimes it's hard to do that. So if you put a little bit more paint onto your brush, push a little harder, right? And then spin and spin and spin, we can create a bigger circle out into our sky. Bang, just like that. All depends on how much paint and how much pressure we're using on our canvas, right? And how much practice have you had at it? It might not go well on your first one. Don't expect it to be perfect on the first go. You gotta give it a few practice runs, right? Now we'll come out here and we're gonna swipe over that guy just to soften him a little bit. Little swipes. Here, there, this brush has way too much paint on it. I picked up the wrong brush. There we go. A couple little swipes of our sun out in our sky. Makes him look very far away and faded, right? Way off there. Now let's go back. We'll get a little fan brush, and we probably need to get some more white paint. And I probably have to go to Michael's not only for canvases, but for white paint, because if we don't have white, we can't do anything. I've probably got enough for at least this weekend anyway. But then I gotta get some for next week, guys. Next week we need the paints. Okay, we'll come in here. I'm gonna grab up our fan brush. Gonna roll through our titanium white, very thick white paint. And then let's decide. Let's use some of these shadows down here as the base of our clouds. All right, so what if we roll that white on top of all that shadowy area? Bang, like it's wrapping around, popping up, dropping down, just mushing some color out onto the canvas, honestly. All you gotta do, seriously it. And we bring our brush back up here and we start to mush it. And you mix it, and you push it, and you pull it. And you go every which way you can possibly go, blending it out as lightly as you can, pushing it harder sometimes, dragging it a bit further, letting it blend into the sky. All of a sudden, we're kind of wrapped around our little sun and just looking awesome, right? Just by dragging around some paint, messing it up a little bit. All we gotta do, guys, honestly, literally it. I'm gonna come back in, grab a little bit more of our white paint onto the old brush, and oh, I got a new Meaden referral go in over here. Did one of you guys just buy a new easel through me? Remember, guys, if you do, that reminds me, if you go to meadenarts.com and buy anything using the promo code JOSH10, you're gonna get 10% off of that website. Anything on the website. Doesn't even have to be oil painting stuff. It could be acrylic brushes or whatever. All right, let's make a little long, flat little floater of a cloud just underneath our other guy. We don't want it to be too far down, right? Otherwise it's gonna look strange. Just gonna have a little bit of darkness out there. Let's take this guy and start to flatten him out. Maybe we'll take him and mess him up a little bit as we're flattening him, right? We don't need it to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a perfect straight line. We just want it to be a little soft little floater, just to have the sky look a little different is all. That's it. Just a little touch, right? Maybe that guy, maybe we had a few more up here, like this little crown of clouds. There's a hole right through the sky, right? Everything out here is a cloud except for that big old punched out hole in the sky where we can see our sun shining through, right? Go out here and mix it up. Remember, you need a whole lot of paint when you're trying to keep white clouds on a sunsetty canvas. Need a lot of paint and very minute little bits of pressure out there, right? Very cool. Ooh, I like it. It's like we're building a new scene just in the clouds. Guys, what if we did this? What if we did this? I'm just seeing it. I'm seeing stuff. What if we came in like this, right? Pop down underneath this guy. And even have another little soft, little flat, little floater, right? All up to us. And remember, no one's going to be looking at our sky by the time that we're done. We're going to give it a quick look. Be like, oh, there's some cool clouds, and then move on, right? There's lots more to look at than just your clouds out in your sky. So don't spend too much time on them. Don't worry about them too much, right? A couple little dribs and drags, and we got a neat little thing out there, right? Just cool. Adds a little bit more depth, a little bit more detail if you leave those darker spaces in between. And they don't have to be perfectly bright. Not every place is going to be as bright as every other place is going to be, right? Down on these darker bits, let's take a bit of our purple, just a little touch down underneath, small little bit, see if we can get a little shadow underneath this guy. Way down at the bottom, furthest away from our sun, just a couple little streaks of purple, and then we'll go blend them out literally until they blend in with our sky beneath, so it's kind of hard to tell what's happening down there. Very cool. A little dusky little sunset out here. And it's still not as dark as I want it to be up in these dang corners. Let's add a little bit more up here, just a touch. See if we can't blend this guy out just as softly as we possibly can. Not trying to have it cover too much, right? Bang, a little bit of darker purpley color out in our sky. A little bit more, maybe we can streak it through. Check this out. You can do so many little things, right? We can sneak a whole little shadow underneath just by just very lightly dragging that part in. You don't like that big old cloud bit that we had over here? Blend it away into our sky, and all of a sudden things change, right? It's all up to us. That's the best part. Now let's get out here, drop a little bit of our purpley bit down on this side of our water, a little out onto that side of our water, and we'll have that bright spot right in the middle. Right in the middle, guys. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Now, we don't want to focus too much on what our faraway oceany bit looks like. Otherwise, you're not going to focus on what we have in store in the front, right? So let's take a little bit of our pure titanium white, that real thick, real nasty paint, right? Drop in a couple little bits of some waves back on our water, mush them all together. A few cool little things. Again, the water is very far away. It's not part of our focal point, okay? So we're not going to worry about what the water looks like way out there. And with that bit that's on our sand, take him and pull him down just a little touch. A little bit, a little softer than the actual water is out there. Cool. Excellent. All we need, seriously. Now, let's get a little brush that's clean. And we're starting to roll through too many brushes, you guys. We're going to have to take some time to clean these brushes. Now, the more that we intermix that with just the liquid white paint that's on the bottom, it will turn into sand, right? We're not using any paint on the brush. It's nice and dry and clean. We're just trying to drag the smallest amount of it across over here so we can have our white sandy beach, right? Just fantastic. Look at that, you guys. Look at that color. Oh, it's just awesome. We're gonna come over here and make this guy a little bit more pronounced. Just one more little thing. You can always go back in, toss in the little guy in the middle, right? Not everything has to be perfect. And again, the waves are so far away that we can't really see what's going on. Very softly swipe across. Now, let's get in here. We need to mix up a bit of what we want our foreground to look like, right? So we're gonna go with a little bit of our Paint with Josh black color, and then we're gonna add some green into that mix as well. Just a little of our sap green, grabbing it up, tossing it into our Paint with Josh black mix, which is gonna make it clean. I don't know, you guys have to decide the name of the new color, right? But you can already tell just by straightening it out, it's much more greeny than our Paint with Josh black is. And that should leave us with some cool little shadowy bits down in our grassy things that we're about to paint, our little bushies and stuff, right? Now, let's get out here, grab one of these monster, ooh, still never dropped the brush. It was about to, but it did not drop, right? Grab this big old monster bush making brush. And let's decide where we got some hills, right? Maybe up close to us. Ooh, dudes, I can see it already. All right, up close to us over here, let's pop in a couple little bits of, I don't know, greenery, something. flowing down on this little hill that it lives on. Maybe it comes down there. We can pop up some cattails and different stuff happening through there. All right, slowly dragging it out. Not trying to take too much of our color away. Pull it down this way, pull it down that way, just like we do with our mountains, right? And we can go back and you can either leave these guys kind of silhouetted in green or go back and highlight them with different things, right? But the more of that color that we intermix into our white sandy beach back here, the cooler it's going to look, right? You can always add a bit more brown to change up the color and the flavor. All up to us. What if we had a bit more of our plaque mix just to make this guy a little different color? And we'll pop him over here on this side, right through there. That whole big old bush is hanging out right here. All right, again, grabbing a little bit of it. Don't want to take too much. Different places, different angles, right? So we came up, then we went in, then we started going down, then we're over here. That will make your bush look more 3D automatically without me even doing anything. That makes the bush look more 3D just by pulling on it in a certain way. Get our canvas all covered up on the sides. Forgot to do my side over here, guys. What are we gonna do? We can't get our sides done. The top's pretty close to being done. We'll get the very top side in a minute. Gorgeous, just gorgeous. Right now, because these guys are sat a little bit lower than those guys are, these guys look a little closer, right? What if, you know what, let's come in with a couple little crazy old cattails just off of this sucker. Just a couple nuts, guys. All right, gonna get our PaintWithBram liner brush, very sharp into that kind of blackish greenish mix that we made our little deals with, right? And we'll throw some crazy things. Now remember, they've gotta be tall. They've gotta stick up into your water. Don't just make them like this, where you're like, okay, I got a few down here, and you know, they're not gonna come up into my thing. No, they need to project up into our water to make them look tall enough and big enough and close enough, right? If they're looking too small, then they don't look like they look too far away if you've got too small things. Remember, always gotta hide some things. Even if it's just one little swipe, you've now pushed the ocean back behind all these little swipes, right? A couple little bits here and there. Maybe you got some that are flung out at different heights and different little things, and they start growing out at different places in different ways. And of course, you don't want to put so many that, you know, you can't see behind them anymore. But they start getting fun. That's for sure. They sure get fun after a while. And I'll show you how to put little tip tops on them, right? If you wanted a little corn dog, let's switch to the Paint with Josh rigger brush. And then we'll add our little corn dog touches to it. All right, the Paint with Josh rigger brush, a little fatter, a little more sturdy, a little more corn dog shaped, right? So we're gonna get the same liquidy color just to ride its way up the brush. Come along, and let's go in for one little tap. Boop. Just like that. Got yourself a little corn dog out there in the day, right? Whatever these little cattail, corn dog, whatever plants they are. That's what I call them, little corn dog plants. Because that's what it looks like to me. Just a little corn dog plop right on the end, right? So you can do that guy more than once in different places. Boop. Different heights on our thing. Right? Some of the times they're a little thicker, some of the times they're a little thinner. So you might have to go on either side. Just kind of tap in our little corn dog of a guy out there. It's kind of cool to me. Looks kind of neat, right? Now, the more that we, the thicker that our stalk is, we might have to extend it a little bit, create our little corn dog guy out there. He looks so cool. So cool. A couple more little bits off in the distance. This is a great grass painting brush. The Paint with Josh rigger. It is a fantastic grassy painting brush right there, let me tell you. Very cool, very cool. Now, let's go back and make that one bit more corn dog. A little bit bigger, a little bit fatter. I'm gonna roll it from side to side, back and forth as we go down. There we go. There he is. There's my little fat little corn dog guy. Whoop, straight up through the top. Very cool, right? They don't all have to be the same. Now, let's go back in, try to find our little teeniest, tiniest of fan brushes we can possibly find. And I'm talking about the smallest. We're gonna go into that thicker part of the paint, and let's just say on some of these little guys, you want the ones that are kind of blowing in the wind out here. Some of these little guys, we got a little touch and a little flick. All you gotta do, a little touch, a little flick, right? Maybe off of this guy out here, right on the end, right? Have himself touch, flick, a little bit hanging out there, blowing in the wind. It's a piece of something that's caught on that thing that's just not having the best of days. Getting stuck, blowing around out there, right? Little things, nothing too crazy, not too much paint. They don't have to be super tall, just little bits that are blowing. Make them all blow the same way too. I mean, you know, it's not always blowing the same way, I guess, but when I'm doing them, I'm wanting them all to blow in the same direction because it's, you know, the wind's casting, blowing its way over this way. Very cool. I mean, you don't have to do too many, you know what I mean? It's all up to us, what we want to do, how much, you know. Got the corn dog bush, that's it. That's what I call them anyway, little corn dog plants. Right now, let's go beneath these guys and let's get a little bit more of our plaque mix because it's almost too bright green. I want it to be a bit darker like that. So let's go with our blue, black, and crimson mix over into our other pile so we can darken it down. And let's add a bit more underneath our little guys on the left. All right, so we'll take this, scoop it up, throw it down, go back, get our little bushy brush, which is still covered in that deep dark green color. And let's say these guys were a bit bigger, right? So we connect onto the bottom of them, have them come down a little bit more. Maybe they're working their way out. Maybe there's a whole new one. That one's a bit further. Ooh, I like that. It's a bit further away. And this guy, a little bit thicker, so we come down a bit more, right? The differences in color, the changes are what's gonna matter. Take these guys, pull them down and away in our little sandy beach. We can always go back over and cover it with our white, right? Pulling it different directions in different places. And all of a sudden, the more that you mix it in, right, with that liquid white that's on the canvas, just scrubbing with the same brush, literally scrubbing it with the same brush, getting all that liquid white and everything to mix up inside. Boom, 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 boom. You get your little shadows on your beach back here, right? It's guiding us down to the ocean. Wicked cool little thing. I'm the double threat kind of guy. What's my double threat? Singing and painting? Or just being devilishly good looking? I know, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's my burden. It's so my burden. I have to, I wish. I'm the wish. And people always call me the wish version of Bob Ross, which makes me cry and laugh at the same time. So the lower you go, the thicker the bush. Yeah, I mean, it depends, right? Especially the darker color. Now, the lower it is on the canvas, the closer it is to us, right? The higher it is, the more further away it is. Drops a little lower. You can see some of the beach color back in there. Some of that green sliding down that just projects distance. So no matter what, the closer you go, it has to become darker, right? And it should become a bit, you know, depends on what it is. But if I was going to put like another bush in front of this guy, I wouldn't try to make it so big that I would cover the other guy. You just want to have a bit of that sand or something in between. Maybe have the bush come up into its shadows or something. You know what I mean? All up to us. We get to pick. And there's more than one canvas, so you get more than one chance at doing it, right? Which is the best part. Oh, I like that, guys. Now, we still got to go back in and add our white to kind of get rid of these things. I mean, you can count them as shadows, but they're kind of like teal color because we made that plaque and mixed it with the green. And they kind of got a bit of teal there. So what do you want your beach to look like? Maybe we take a bit of white and a bit of brown together, right? The more white that you have, the more tropically of a beach it'll be. We'll take these guys and push that sand maybe up into, see how all of a sudden it's already changed the color of the sandy beach? Just that little section of brown, right? And we can decide, do you want to leave it white? Do you want to leave it brown? Do you want to have that, you know, do you want it to get lighter as it comes towards you, or do you want to get darker as it comes towards you? Each one is up to us, and we are the only people that are going to be able to tell us what we're doing, right? Dragging it, having it flick right up into the bushes. In any case, in anything, whether it's sand, whether it's snow, tell me it doesn't look more natural like that than when you just grab and pull, right? That looks much more like it's been wind swept up underneath those little bushes. These guys are very thin back here, right? And then I'm not going to add the cattails on this bush that's in front because you honestly wouldn't be able to tell which one it's coming from, right? So not everything has to be the same. And if you did want to make this guy wrap around like he was even closer, we could get a bit more plaque, taking account into his shadow, right? That's where we got to aim for. This little shadowy color is where we're going to be aiming, right? So we're dragging all of our white up into the bush, Getting rid of those little guys, you can mix them up and blend them out all perfectly. Now if we come down, even connected to the same bush, as long as we pop up into that shadowy bit, right? Now there's like a little cove inside that bush full of sand. Maybe this guy comes down here, right? We get to choose what it looks like, all depending on how we pull the brush, right? Now we're gonna pull it at different heights and different ways to make it look a little bit more choppy, right? It's not just a straight off the bottom kind of a thing. And then especially when you're right at the front of your foreground, you want to be pulling off, you don't want to come down at an angle, you want to be pulling off very straight across. That helps everything flatten its way out. Let's get a little bit more of our brown, a little bit more of our white. Come into here. And you know, let's go more brown. And we're going to be in the shadows back here, back underneath this little bushy bit. Throw a little brown, then we're going to sweep our brown up into the bush, making it a little bit more realistic, just in my book, that's all. It's just what I think. You guys don't have to think the same thing. Let's take a little bit darker of our brown as well, coming off the shadowy side, underneath here, right? Blend it out to our liking, however we want it to look. Shoot it back up into the bushes, and each time you do, you contact your sand down here, just while you go back in, blend it all out, and all of a sudden, guys, we got a really cool little beachy little painting right here, if you ask me. You can always add in little details and sticks and twigs coming out of different places. Right? I always aim for the dark spots of my little plants and bushes and stuff that go off there. Really cool. Makes it look like there's little stems that are holding up all these little flowery bits, right? All right, now we gotta wash off some brushes. You guys are gonna have to start coming up with a name for this painting, because if it sells during the live show, the buyer gets to title it, of course, but if it doesn't, then you guys have to title it for me, and I'll choose the best one out of all the comments. So, let me know what you think you would call this one while I get busy cleaning off all these brushes. And then we'll be right back with you just after these messages. All right, over there, over here. Oh, goodness, all right. That right there. This over at Sean. Remember, you always have to dab the brushes dry on paper towel. Don't just leave them wet with that thinner in there. They will dry and become very hard overnight. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't be like, it'll be okay. It'll be fine this time. No, it will not. All right, about 4 more brushes to go, guys. So you got to tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? Let me know. Whew. This one looks really nice. I'm not even sure I want to highlight anything. Like they're silhouette-y, right? They're really cool looking. Really cool. Really cool. A peaceful oasis. That's a cool title. It's a peaceful oasis. All right. This, that, over here. That all done over here. This will be one of the last 2. There's only 2 more after this one, guys. Almost there. That's what happens when you go a whole painting without cleaning any brushes. See, didn't I tell you not to worry about all those little waves? Because you don't need them. You're not worried about it. You're not looking at the waves. You're looking at these guys in the front, right? If you make your waves too big and too noticeable, then they're going to look too close, and therefore we're going to be focusing on them too much. You don't have to be like crazy crashers out there breaking on the coast, right? Just little, I don't even know what you would call them, little laps, just lapping in like very softly. Alright. 2 more little fan brushes. Those go fast, guys, so don't worry. Now start coming up with a title for this one. And if it does end up selling, then the buyer will get to choose from all of your title suggestions. And if it does not, then I'll get to choose from all of your title suggestions. Man, it's going to be a good time. I think I'm going to come back and do a second Seascape, just because I got the idea in my head, too. Put a big old whacking tree with a bunch of branches coming off of it right in the front. It'd be awesome. Just be awesome. Whoop, drop the fan brush. Just be awesome. All right, so what do we got for titles, my guys and gals, and painting pals? Oh shoot, 2 more liner brushes I gotta clean off too. How many brushes did we go through doing this painting? Now I gotta put the birds in still. I'm sure someone's in the comments going, birds, I can just feel it. I can feel it before you even ask. I can feel it. Let's see. Sunset Passion. Looks like Mars. Yes, it's a seascape on Mars. Dig it. Ocean of Mars. Beach view on Mars. I like that. Corn Dog Cove. That's funny. Awakening of the Corn Dog Bushes. From Nad. Which is Dan backwards. It took me way too long to figure that part out. Honestly. I was like, Nad? Like Nads? Nad? Like what? Why? Why would you name yourself Nads? No, like, oh. Dan. Got it. Got it. Copy. Copy that. Let's throw some albatrosses out here in the day. Just flying through the daytime sky. Let's throw a little signature down here. Just a little baby guy. Just a little baby guy. Now, you guys got to hit me with some titles because we're in dire need of a title. That's the worst looking JK I have ever done. You want to know why we use odorless mineral spirits when we're doing our signature? For that reason. You can literally delete it. Hang on, let me backspace. I gotta delete this. Delete my signature here real quick. Backspace, backspace, backspace. That's a better looking J. And there's the K shape that everybody loves. Gorgeous. All right, guys, let's flip the camera around, and then we're gonna see what we've got for titles. That's titles for the layman speak. Okay. Now, don't get sick when I flip you around. You get, hey, right here, over there. That's a pretty little painting that'll look good hanging on your wall, guys. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Tangerine Sky. Dusty Dunes. I like that one, too. Poppin' Pooch, is that what that said? Oh, Lord. Yes, that's exactly what it said. Did anyone else see that screen name? That is a screen name and a half. Poppin' Pooch, we're going to call him, or them. You can go over to paintwithjosh.etsy.com and grab this painting. It's number 1320. So if you go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com, just in your web browser, it'll pull up my store, and then there'll be a little search bar. You type in 1320, and that'll come up, just the numbers, 1320. And it'll come up with this painting. You can get it right here, right now, and win a free gift when you do so. And if you get it during the live show, then you get to pick the name, which is the most fun, to me anyway. Just the most fun. Hazy Shade of Summer instead of Winter. That's a good Bengals song, by the way. Not like it's on my iPod or nothing. Summer Seas. Peaceful Oasis. Pink Harmony. I like that one too. Sherbert Sands. That's a good title. Peaceful Shores. Sunset. Mist. Flamingo Pink Butt Cheeks. Is that what that's supposed to stand for? So, guys, you can get this one. It's 223 paintings. No, it's 223 bucks and free shipping all around the world. You can get it Oasis. You can get it if you go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com, just like my mods are telling you. And, yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I'm not even going to highlight it. It's gorgeous the way it is. I love the pinky purpley sky and everything about it. Corn Dog Cove. I really like that one, too. Corn Dog Cove is funny. That was funny. Peach Cove. Dig that. Sandy Cove. Are you asking about the canvas? Scientific? Yeah, it was white canvas. And then we just colored in the sunset sky and did everything all, no black bottom, no nothing like that. Just pure white canvas. And what we use, I'll tell you right here. We used cad yellow first, then a mixture of Indian yellow and yellow ochre. Then we went to our crimson. And then we went over here to purple and Eventually I pulled from this crimson pile just a little bit, but we didn't really need it. It's just kind of out there. But those main colors, then we got brown for the sand, and just very lightly letting it work in with the liquid white and stuff, and that makes it, you know, it's keeping it bright anyway. Sad you missed it. Me too. Salmon Cove. Peach Beach. I like that. Peach Beach. Dude, that might be, I'm gonna pin this one right here. This is in the lead. Peach Beach. You peachy beach you. What are we gonna do with that title? I do like Corn Dog Cove so much, don't get me wrong. Peach Beach got a ring to it. Peach Beach. Oh, Peach Beach is awesome, isn't it? Forever Sky, that's a cool title. Very cool. Peaceful Oasis. Lost in peace instead of space. This Georgia Peach thanks you. Peach Beach! I didn't say that you were the winner of the titling, but you're in first place anyway. I like your title the best so far. I think a lot of people are... It's catchy, right? Peach Beach. All right, let's name it Peach Beach. Peach Beach. Where are you going this weekend? Oh, I'm taking the wife and kids down to Peach Beach. You know, just gonna have a good old time. Just going down to the